going on, you guys? Welcome back to the channel, Anders. And today, I'm not going to jinx it, but I think we have a solution for the NUKE fuel rails on the M113. And I am so pumped because we're about this close away from trying it. So if you guys have been following along in the other videos, I really haven't made a dedicated video on any one of the now 6 cars if you're not familiar with my channel. And I've been kind of throwing everything into jumbled videos. So I have mentioned a few times I'm working on something. I'm working on something with the fuel rails to try to get them to fit. As you guys know, if you watch the release video on this, NUKE custom made these after me and them were going back and forth about possible designs, and sent these out to me to be the test subject for these. And yeah, everything went perfect. It all installed correctly. It was all machined correctly. And then I came to plugging in the harnesses for the fuel injectors, and they didn't fit. There wasn't enough room. As you can tell, the stock rail has these about 16 millimeter cylinders poking out of the bottom of the rail, which allots for the plugs plugging in. Anyways, that wasn't taken into account for their first iteration design. So we were stuck pretty much dead in the water. But thank you to Michigan Motorsports, and they're not the only ones that make these, but they were the ones that had some good ones and for a great price, and they got them to me super quick too. So these are actually designated, if that'll focus, these are actually designated for LS1s. LS1s share the same EV1 Bosch style connectors that have a 14 millimeter O-ring, and that's exactly what these are. They're basically, as I said, an adapter for injectors. If you have a short style injector, these can be used to replicate, the size of a long style injector with the same, dimensions for the O-rings. So it's basically 14 millimeter bore female side, and then 14 millimeter male side that plugs in to the rail. Everything has lined up smoothly. However, I did have to do a small modification to the retaining clips. I've had to bore out the holes just ever so slightly on each side, just to allow for the holes to line up, because when I slide these injector clips onto these adapters, the adapters are just a little wider than the opening is for the Bosch injectors. So that is one thing that I've had to do. It's very tiny. It's been taking me not too long just to use the drill, literally set up on the vise, and just, one hole flip, one hole done, bring it over here, bolt it together. So I am on the second side right now. Let me show you guys what it looks like installed on the C55 over here. So here we are, all the clearance in the world to get our harness plugs actually plugged in now, which is awesome, because before we were literally stuck dead in the water, and just wasn't a lot of fun. So we should be good now. The next thing I will have to try to tackle is I'm gonna get some flat either aluminum or steel, and you can see where the brackets used to line up. That's about a 25 millimeter gap now, but at the bottom there's probably about a 5 to 10 mil space that will be perfect if I get that thickness of like steel plate or aluminum plate, and I can just make a straight across bracket that I will bolt to the bottom side of the rail and then to the intake manifold. So we'll need to make brackets. I need to make my AN lines, and all that hopefully will be plugged into this video before it's over, and we can get a test fire. So it's possible tonight. I've never made AN lines, so it might take me a little bit to figure out, but it's possible tonight we could get a fire up. And if not tonight, then you guys will see it in this video regardless. So yeah, I'm gonna finish up this last little one, get everything plugged in, and we'll go from there. One other complication that we had, the safety clips, because that's the reason I ordered these specific ones. If you can see, these have a lip on both sides, but the stock Bosch safety clips don't quite notch onto this little lip here. So I need to call Michigan Motorsports tomorrow and ask them what style safety clip will work with the injector and clip onto that part. Otherwise, at worst, I could, you know, run some little steel wire and just make sure that they're seated. They do seat pretty tight, but yeah, we'll run it for now for test firing, but long-term wise, we'll definitely need to get a safety clip on both sides. So that said, let me go ahead and finish this side up. We'll plug it in, and then I got to start making my AN lines. Alright guys, that is all finished up. Let me go ahead and plug the injectors in. We can line up this side, start mapping out our fuel lines. Alright guys, this is a big step for this project. All of the injectors are plugged in on both sides. Wiring loom still fits fine. If anything, I could probably adjust this side a tiny bit. I did plan anyways to unwrap all this old electrical tape and put some nylon loom on it anyways, so this would be kind of a good excuse to do that for a project like this. Kind of clean it up and make it match, especially the rest of the engine bay now that valve covers are done, intake manifold is done. Just really trying to clean things up, so something that could be done down the line. But yeah, we are all plugged in. Obviously, we don't have our brackets made yet, so fuel rails are just kind of standing freely. But we are ready for the next step, which is creating our AN lines. So wish me luck on that. I'm thinking I could run the 290s. Actually, I only have maybe I should steal the 90 off of the CLK. I'm debating, because if I swap out the 90 off the CLK, I want to put a 45 on that one actually, and need to redo that line because it needs to be a little bit shorter now anyways. It could also use a refreshing, so maybe I should do that. Let me check back. So this is the kit I got from Evo Energy, by the way. It's got all the fittings in here. Some of them were already on the rail, some of them not. There's a 45, got a couple straight fittings. So what do I want to do here? So this backside does need a 90. That's going to 90 off, connect to the T. The T is going to connect to the factory fuel line with the adapter that I found that fits. And then do we need, I mean, I could probably do the 45 to the 90, but it'd probably be better with the 90. I think I should do that because I need to run a 45 anyways on the other project, so I might as well do it. Alright, enough thinking about it, let's do it. Alright guys, line acquired from the CLK. Thank you CLK for your donation. We're going to be swapping this out. It's got two 90s on this side, so we only need one of them. Take one of them off. I need to redo this line anyways because it's too long, so kill two birds with one stone and swap this 90 out. Alright guys, we got our fittings separated and our old line taken out, and it's kind of good to look through this anyways because I wanted to check the integrity of these lines because one of them I am still using that I've heat shielded, so glad to see it's still in pretty good shape. Obviously not brand new, but plenty usable, so yeah, we'll be good. But I will swap that out, either cut this shorter or swap it out entirely with the new stuff. So let me go ahead and figure out how long our line needs to be. I'm going to use this one on the back side since it's a little marred up. I'll probably touch it up with some black paint once I put it back in there, but no big deal. But yeah, let me measure out what I need and get to cutting. Alright guys, just cut my first ever AN line. Size looks about right. I used a combination of the bolt cutters. I basically did 90 cuts on it back and forth, and then once I got it pretty thin, I just used some strong shears to cut through the rest of it. I electric taped both sides and put a little masking tape where I wanted to mark exactly where to cut after. So yeah, should be good. I'll clean it up, get it ready, and yeah, get a line done. Well guys, today I learned the difficulty of putting A lines together. Sheesh, man. It took me like an hour. And let me get this out of here, I'll show you. Alright guys, so number one, I cheated a bit. I, for the life of me, could not get this in here without using a cheater bit of electrical tape to hold the nylon down while I was putting the line in, because it just would not stop fraying. I understand why people use the angle grinders on them now to cut them. I tried a lot of different things. Tried to, like, you know, heat up the ends of the nylon so it wouldn't fray apart, use WD-40, use the electric grease. It was, yeah, just not happening. So luckily they sat fine once I got a little electric tape on this side. Especially was being super difficult. This side not so much, but we should have a solid line now, so let's go install it. Well guys, so close yet so far away. And lines are made front and back, but the line that I was going to use that I got the correct adapter for is now too long. Because we raised the rails and all that stuff, it just kind of threw it out of whack. I also didn't think about, I got the right connector to go from the weird M12 bubble fitting to AN, but I forgot to get a female to female AN connector. But I don't think it matters anymore. I think that we are gonna have to get the fitting sent over either by NUKE, or I can try to rob it off the CLK tomorrow and make another line to connect to the other T fitting over here. But I'm gonna leave it there, guys. It is literally like 2 in the morning. I am beat. I will catch you guys with an update, hopefully something good tomorrow. Alright you guys, well, it's the next day, and let me tell you guys, if you're excited so far in the video, you're going to be a whole lot more excited, because I think we got what we need to fire it up. I just took the fitting off of the CLK. Thank you CLK, you've donated a ton already to everything as far as gaining knowledge and parts for the other cars for the time being while we fix it up. But sacrificed a few fittings off of that rail so that we could loop our rail, as you guys saw yesterday, and it just sacrificed a huge piece that I literally spent weeks on trying to find a fitting that would work, and it ended up being this one. I talked about it in Friday's video if you guys saw that, but this is an 034 Motorsport fitting, basically from M12 by 1, I think, to AN6. And the trickiest part is it's like a double inverted flare or something weird, and I just couldn't figure out what the heck it was. But it ended up being something that I wasn't even looking for that works. This doesn't have really the inverted flare fitting on it, but it looks like it's gonna work. I already had the fuel pressure gauge adapter set up, so I am gonna run one on the C55 as well. I'm gonna run on both of the cars, so figured might as well just transfer all that over. I'll order a new adapter fitting for this so I can run on the CLK. That one's got more downtime ahead of it though, so I'm at that stage. I have enough cars where I'm pulling parts off of other cars to put on other cars, and I never thought I'd be doing that, because I always watch videos of people doing that with a ton of cars, and I was like, what? Why are you doing that? But now I'm doing that. I understand. So yeah, we're gonna get this mounted up and finish that one more AN line to connect this to the looped rail, and then I'll show you guys one other crazy thing that I'm psyched on that ended up working out. Alright, so after some measuring yesterday, I went on a hope and a prayer to the hardware store to try to find some spacers and some hardware that would work, and it just so happens they literally had the exact size I need, a 25mm spacer, and then I just picked out some different Allen bolts that would coincide with that length change. It is as good as you could get for just going to the hardware store and picking stuff out. Right bore, right outer diameter, right length, height. Let me show you what they look like. So when I say like perfect, like they are perfect. It is crazy. Like it just worked out so good. I have 3 of them mounted right now. I got to do that last one in the back corner, and then we are literally good. it'll hold everything in position. I'll show you guys real quick. Like, these rails are solid. They are not going anywhere. The injectors are good. I actually contacted Michigan Motorsports today to ask them what they would recommend safety clip wise on the bottom half, and they said honestly, if you have the top retained, the bottom part should not move once it's in place, and it's not going to move. These are down in here, they're not going anywhere. They really don't even like rotate right now. They do a little bit if you move them, but you have to try to move them to do that. So they're going to be good. I just got to get that other side tied down. I'll have to tighten all my lines. None of my AN lines are tight yet. I just kind of left them where they are. Finish up that line, and guys, we're actually going to be able to fire this thing up. Crazy, crazy. All right, guys, well, with a whole lot of time and a whole lot of patience later, we got all of the lines hooked up. I need to tighten everything down now, double check everything, reinstall the air filter. Yeah, just give it a good overall check. I did drop one of the bolts underneath. That was for the rails, but I had another one. It's just not the same color. It's a black bolt versus stainless one, so I'll get that later. It's sitting on the plastic pan underneath. But yeah, I think we just got to tighten things up. I have the Teflon tape ready on the pressure gauge, so I'll go ahead and install that. And I think we're good. We just got to tighten everything up, so let's do it. Well, guys, I think it might be time. I've been spending the last like half an hour double checking, triple checking everything that I've done. I have the AN lines all tightened down, rails tightened down, connectors all plugged in, the valve covers have all been torqued. Everything that I've done while it's been down has been put back. All the PCV lines are back. Everything's routed correctly. Fuel pressure gauge is tightened up. There's a lot that we've done, guys, so I am kind of flustered, to be honest. But first thing I'm going to do is put the battery on the car, put the key in the ignition, cycle it. Fuel should pressurize. At that point, I will check the rail, check for any leaks, and if we are dry, we go for the first start and just let it run, see what happens. So wish me luck. Okay, guys, battery is plugged in on its own. I'm gonna go ahead and take this out. Shut the trunk. That stuff's clear out of the way. Let's not keep it there. Anyways, okay. I don't know where my camera tripod is right now. I would set you guys up here, but I think you're gonna have to come in the car with me, or I can set you on a box over here. But first things first, fuel pressure test. Turn the key on. See if we got any leaks. Okay, pressure gauge has been tightened down. All of AN lines have been tightened down. Air filter is back on. Okay, I like have changed so much that I'm feeling like a rookie right now. Like I shouldn't be, but yeah. Okay, let's do this. Okay, trusty key. Guess I don't need to be in the car for this, but I guess we will be. Yeah. Oh, it's been a while. C55. Oh, yeah. Okay, neutral. Not starting it. Okay, let me go check. That should have. Let's do it one more time. That should have brought fuel. Let's go check it. Oh, look at that. Sick. Okay, we got pressure. That has to mean it's holding. I can hear, oh yeah, I hear the water pump kicking on. I hear the MAF doing its reset. Oh, that's leaking. Okay, let's tighten that down. Oh man, well guys, as much as I wanted it to just be tighten down the fittings and we're good, that only worked on the fuel pressure gauge. This whole section right here is just not doing well. I think the connector to the rail is fine, but this fitting and this fitting are leaking. I've tried to tighten up the actual line connection. The you know, swivel side is as tight as they're gonna go, so it's not leaking from the swivel side, it's leaking from the joint in the middle. And the same thing with this one. So demoralizing, guys. I am it's already a late night and I still gotta edit a video, so I think I'm gonna have to cut this one short and come back to this. Besides, even if I try to take it out right now, a bunch of fuel is going to dump everywhere, so I'd rather not. And come back with this with fresh eyes and a fresh mind, because I'm beat. I've stayed up till like 2 in the morning the last few days. It's about 11 o'clock right now, and like I said, I still have to edit a video, which is going to take me an hour or two. So I got to get up early tomorrow and go to the junkyard. There's a car that I want to go peep and see if I can pull some parts off it to sell, to be honest, because I'm trying to do my best to I don't know, just like acquire money from selling parts from the cars to dedicate towards the cars, rather than just, you know, getting in a cycle of like spending my own money all the time on all the cars, because, you know, cars are expensive, they get expensive quick. So I would rather try to sell off a lot of parts. That's why you guys have seen, you know, some things going off the shelves. I just sold a bunch of W124 parts. So yeah, I'm just trying to like get things out of the way that I don't need, and in return make a little bit of money and put that money into the builds. So I think there's a car tomorrow that might have some stuff worth pulling off of, yeah, we'll leave it there. Sorry guys, I thought this was going to be the part where we start the car, but hopefully that comes in the next part. I suck at making AN lines. I learned that in this project. I feel like an absolute rookie right now. What's going on, you guys? It's the next day. I'm refreshed, finally got some sleep, and I think we might have found a solution. I just stopped by a local hydraulic shop. I think they're MI Performance, something like that. They used to be Kirkland Hydraulic Solutions, but anyways, they just happen to have the correct T-fitting. These are the two sources of the leaks. It was coming from right here, and nothing dry on that side and over here. And it just seemed weird to me that, okay, all the other lines, they did everything the exact same, they all felt the exact same. Why would it only be leaking at those two connections? So rather than redoing the lines and all that, I thought, let's take out that one variable first. So they had a much higher quality JIC 6 fitting. For those that don't know, JIC and AN are the same thing. They're just like Army Navy standard, and JIC is, I can't remember what it stands for, but anyways, same thing. The stuff that they carry is much higher quality because it's all for like hydraulic stuff, much higher pressures. And yeah, I think we are good because we got fuel pressure. There is no leaks. We are dry on both sides on the fitting to the rail. This one was having no problems yesterday anyways, so that was really the only problem, guys. I think we are good. The pressures, I tightened that up as well. That's not leaking. I think we're good, you guys. Wait, that was some fuel right there, I think. Wait. Okay, where is it leaking from? I think it might be leaking from over here. Okay, let me double check this real quick. I might have to tighten them up.
Alright, just tighten that one up. That might have been leftover actually from when I undid the rail. It might have dripped down there, so I might have just touched it because it feels dry everywhere under here now. So, you guys, I think we finally get to fire this thing up. Let me put this air filter on, and now we can fire it up. Holy crap. Alright guys, I think we are ready to fire up. Let's go for it. Just double check everything. I was already double checking everything last night, but I was also sleep deprived, so... Oh, let's see. Okay, neutral. Everything's good to go. I'm gonna prime it one more time. Let's do this. Yo! Okay, let's go check. Holy crap. We definitely got a little leak over there. Tiny though, it's like it could be from it coming from the fuel pressure gauge. But holy crap, you guys, it is running. Alright guys, I'm gonna shut it off. We got a little bit of smoke coming from where the oil had been dripping down when the car was sitting with the valve covers off. But just need to figure out, it's just a tiny drip coming from over here. It's got to be the fuel pressure regulator, I would assume. If it didn't Teflon tape it enough, or need to get the fittings tightened up over there. So, man, crazy though. It's up and running. No way. Oh yeah. You guys, that was a lot of work to figure out. Feels really good to be at this spot. Let's get it dialed in, and then we can finally drive this thing. Oh man. Alright you guys, we just double checked everything again. I tightened these ones down a tiny bit. I had to use a skinnier 17mm Allen or a wrench to get in between the pressure gauge there. I did tilt this thing down a little bit on accident, but it's alright. I can still just lean over here to see where it's at, and to be honest, I'm not going to be checking it all the time, so it's not a big deal. But yeah, everything is solidified. It's all tightened down. Tighten down this one just a tiny bit more, and we should be good. I cannot believe we actually got these rails to work. So freaking cool, man. That said, I think I'm going to end it here, guys. I will make a driving video soon for you guys. I feel like it's been a while since we actually took it out for a proper drive. But I just want to say a huge thank you to NUKE Performance. There's not many companies that I think would have been in the back and forth and the trial and error to help me figure this out and to just jump on board with a project like this. So thank you. I'm grateful to work with, you know, a handful of really good companies that do similar things like that and have people in the industry or individuals that are willing to help out, but it's still something to be thankful for, and still like not the commonality by any means. It's rare when you get to like working with companies and things like that to have them, you know, something like this, like such a random project and a random thing that didn't really exist on their spectrum prior to this, but to have it now sorted, crazy. It's super cool. It's that final piece to really give this thing a unique flavor in the engine bay, and more importantly, it now provides an equal fuel pressure to all sides of the rail. This is a cylinder that typically leans out at higher PM with the standard fuel rail design, especially on the supercharged cars, but when you loop the rail, then it eliminates that problem. So now that it's looped, we're good to go, and it's just super cool. I can't believe just looking at this thing, like look how, what a big transformation. If you go back
to when this thing was stock, and if I pop the airbox off of it. I want to try to find a clip. I'll try to find a clip, guys, and put it in, overlay it in right now. But if you go back and look, this thing is a stock engine, and then you look now and just think about all the little modifications we've done to it. And then as of recent, you know, the aesthetic stuff of making it look a lot nicer, the valve covers, the intake manifold, the intake, and now the fuel rails. It just looks super cool. And if you guys know me by now, I'm all function over form, but at the same time, like, these are nice looking cars, and I want to have them look cool and fit, you know, that capability and functionality with the way they look too. So it's a balance, but man, it's very cool. This thing, I gotta get that thing done soon, but to have the OG good to go, this is awesome. So I will catch you guys on the next one. I got a lot to do right now, and don't feel like playing musical cars to get this thing out of here. So I will hit you guys with a driving video soon, don't you worry. But until then, I'll catch you guys on the next one. Peace.